Thank you, Mr. Chair. Look, folks, we've all seen the devastation in Los Angeles due to the ongoing wildfires that have burned more than 40,000 acres of land this last week and have destroyed more than 12,000 structures and has led to more than 24 lives being lost. The fires are now the most destructive natural disasters in Los Angeles history. And despite the misinformation that's circulating here in the Capitol, in Southern California, and everywhere in between, it's clear that these fires only reach the size and the scale that they have because of unseasonably dry vegetation and extremely high winds, both of which are a direct result of climate change. Mr. Wright, thank you for being here. But as we've seen last week, the climate crisis and its deadly effects is very real to my neighbors and my constituents. As we discussed in our meeting yesterday, you were a longtime resident of California, so you've seen the conditions evolve firsthand. So I got to tell you, I was pretty disappointed to come across some social media posts of yours, and I will quote, understand you've written that the hype over wildfires is just hype to justify more impoverishment from bad government policies, end quote. Given the devastation that we're currently experiencing in Los Angeles, do you still believe that wildfires are just hype?
Sir, it is with great sorrow and fear that I watch what's happening in your city of L.A. and
Do you think it's just hype or not?
Climate change is a real and global phenomenon.
Is it hype or not?
I stand by my past comments.
So you believe it's hype? You know,
climate change is a real...
Tell that to the families of the more than 24 lost in these fires and counting, because the urban search and rescue teams are still going property by property with cadaver dogs. That number is going to climb. I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Let me make reference to another element of your social media. You reposted a statement, so not your words, but you felt it important enough to amplify a social media post, and I'll quote, "Now, obviously, burning to death in a fire is pretty grim, but that is not what is happening like the climate zealots would like you to believe," end quote. So again, to the families of more than a couple dozen of my constituents who have died in these fires, and that number is growing, like I mentioned, do you believe that Californians who have died over the past week are somehow just a figment of our imagination?
Of course not, Senator. It is heart-wrenching to watch the destruction, most importantly, of people's lives.
And I'm not sorry for cutting you off here. I think the point has been made, and you're standing by your posts, and I assume the reposts as well. And I'll tell you why I'm further disappointed. We had, I think, a genuine conversation yesterday in my office. You said you have a science background. You pride yourself in leaning on facts and truth and evidence and data as you make decisions and decide which actions to take.